We've looked already at creating columns and lists, but when you create a column in a list, that column exists only in that particular list and cannot be used elsewhere unless you package the entire list up into a template. Now, SharePoint offers what's called site columns, and what site columns allow you to do is create a particular column and then reuse it in different lists and libraries around your site. So, for example, looking at my products list here, I might want to have a column that's called store location. I could create a column here called store location, but the store location column is something that I think I'm probably going to want to use in other lists and other sites. So what I'll do instead of creating a column here, I'll create a site column first. So I'm going to go actually to my home site or the root site, and I'll create the site column there, and I'll explain why a little bit. So if I go to site settings and I go to site columns, now I can see here all the site columns that already exist. These are all out of the box SharePoint columns, and you can use these um, as you wish. So I'm going to create a new site column. I'm going to call this one store location. I'm going to make it a choice field, and I'll put 3 locations in here. Well, actually, first it's going to ask me which group I want to put, so I can group the columns together. So I'll just create I'll leave it in the custom columns group actually, but I could create a new group if I wanted to. I'll put New York, Boston, Toronto. Keep it as a drop-down menu. I will allow fill-in choices, and I'll have no default value. I'll press OK. Now, if I look here, all of the site columns are organized in groups, and the site column that I just created was put in custom columns. You can see store location is now here, and I can edit this column as I would edit any list column. However, what's important about this is that if I start using this column in other lists, and then I go and update the site column, what you'll see is if I, let's say, change the choices that are available, all lists that use this site column will receive that update if I make sure that this box is ticked. And usually you do want to do that. And I'll show you how now to use a site column. So I'll go into my team site. So I'm actually changing to a different site here. I'm demonstrating the power of a site column. Go into my products list. Go to list settings. And instead of creating a new column, I'll say add from existing site columns. Now, on the left here, it's just going to show me every single site column, but I can filter by groups. So I know I'm using my custom columns. Store location, I'll add that. Press OK. Now when I go back to my products list and edit an item, you'll see that I now have store location available to me. This is really great, especially because, as I said, I've created this site column in a particular site and actually used it in other sites. So the terminology site column is a bit confusing because really the site column can be used across many sites. What's important to note about site columns, however, and this is why I created the site column in this example in the home site or root site, is that when you create a site column, that site column then appears in all of the sub-sites and in the site that you've created it on. So if I created the site column here in the team site, it would not be available in the home site, which is at a higher level, or in other sites that are not sub-sites of team site. So I created it here in the home site so that every single site that I have will be able to use that site column.